Donald Trump stoking more confusion on Obamacare today, contradicting his own statement that he'd work on this bipartisan plan to shore up funding. Republicans, of course, failed to overturn the law. That was the repeal stage. This week, we're seeing a new stage, sabotage. Trump pushing into more extreme territory to undermine the current markets, which means this may be now less about reform and more about how Obamacare insurance markets work out in the states. Now, those state markets matter more than ever. My next guest runs one of the exchanges at the heart of this battle and says the timing of this White House unrolling the ACA couldn't be worse, and the actions at the federal level undermine her efforts. Also today, 19 different state attorneys general go to court to force Trump to make the payments. Trump's failure to offer any consistency has people looking to these states for leadership. In fact, it was Senator Lamar Alexander calling out Trump for turning his back on this bipartisan deal that he says Trump engineered.
He completely engineered the bipartisan agreement that Senator Murray and I announced yesterday in this way. I mean, he talked to Senator Schumer and encouraged him to ask Murray to do it. He called me twice over the last 10 days to talk to me about a bipartisan agreement for the short term, a bridge, so people aren't hurt.
Senator Alexander apparently learning the Meghan Trainor lesson about Trump's legislative offers. If his lips are moving, he may not be telling the truth. Trump ultimately did not stick to any part of his pledge to work on this Obamacare bipartisan plan. I'm joined now by Allison O'Toole, the CEO of MNsure, Minnesota's healthcare exchange program. You are in the thick of this. You say the timing couldn't be worse. Why?
Well, it really couldn't be. Thanks for having me, Ari. We're 2 weeks out from open enrollment, and what this decision does is not only undermine a program, but it ultimately impacts millions of Americans, and that's not fair.
And so when you see what he's doing, do you think it is designed to basically undercut your work in the states?
You know, I don't ever ascribe motives to anyone, but, you know, what it is doing is undercutting market stabilization efforts and hindering enrollment. And that makes my job tougher in Minnesota. My job is to make sure as many Minnesotans enroll into coverage as possible. You know, the timing really couldn't be worse in that regard.
We're going to put on the screen the Minnesota insurance coverage under Obamacare. Over time, more and more people have gotten insurance. The uninsured rate has dropped more recently in 2015 to 4.3. Where's it headed now?
Well, 96% of Minnesotans are covered now, and that's great news. We've got the highest rate of insurance in state history and one of the highest in the country, and we want to keep that trajectory going. What we're facing right now are headwinds because of this federal action, and we're going to be working really hard to combat that in the next few weeks and for the next several couple months.
So in short form, your view is, at least for Minnesota, it ain't broke.
Oh, it's not. You know, we've had success here. We've had success with state innovation, too, and it kind of have taken the reins at a state level and stabilized our market, and we are enjoying success. That's not to say that the Affordable Care Act doesn't need to be tweaked. I testified in front of Senator Alexander's committee a few weeks ago and really support his bipartisan efforts. I am hopeful that they will get something done there. It's not perfect, but it is working in Minnesota.
Yeah, well, we've heard a lot of sniping about this in Washington and on the politics. I know you're interested in the policy and actually out there doing it in the state, so we wanted to hear from you. Allison O'Toole, thank you for joining me today.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.